when I first heard bonfire diving, I was asking myself, how could you do bonfire and at the same time do scuba diving? You know, because that was my first question to myself when I encountered until I
Yeah.
tried to research and find out. But you've mentioned earlier, Ram, about your setup for black water diving. You mentioned to me that usually you put a line where some of the divers
Yes.
do attach so that they don't go far to each other. How about in bonfire diving? My first question is, what's the difference in terms of setup for the divers? And in
Ah,
terms of
yeah.
marine life, what can you see during a
Yeah.
bonfire diving that you can't see during a um, black water
Blackwater dive.
diving?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I get these questions a lot, no? How is bonfire different from Blackwater, and what kind of animals do you see in Blackwater and bonfire? So yeah, very relevant. Um, for Blackwater, the setup is basically a vertical line peppered with torches, no? And then the divers, we jump and we're not attached to to the line, but we swim around the torches. No? We normally look at the black part, the outside the light zone, waiting for plankton to come close. No, for bonfire, so that sorry, the black water, as you can imagine, the line is attached to the buoy, and it's uh it's not stationary. It moves along with the current if there's a current, and the divers need to swim around it while also managing the current. No? In bonfire, your light baits are clamped together and they're planted at the bottom. I normally go out with 3, 4 torches, wide beam torches, and just plant them at the bottom. So from afar, it actually looks like a bonfire. So that's why I called it bonfire now. It's just very natural description of the what I see. And the same thing, no? You wait for plankton to come and then you shoot. No? So another difference is that the bonfire, because it's planted at the bottom, it's stationary. Um, you just move around a very specific area. No? If there's a current, you also have to manage that by wanting to stay close to the bonfire, no? Because that's where the action is going to be. The best, if you can afford it, no, the best time to do a bonfire is when there's no current, so you don't have to like struggle to stay close to the light baits. No? Nowadays, I also try to make variations with the bonfire method. So instead of planting it at the bottom, still even in shallow water, 6 meters, I try to like attach it to a buoy, no, by the coast. No, one is easier to collect after the dive. I don't have to go down to the bottom anymore and collect it. No, I just go up on my way up to the surface. I go back to the buoy line and just collect the light and come back. No, but the same thing. No, it's still shallow water. Now, in terms of marine life, I would say they're like 70-80% the same kind of plankton. So you see a lot of larval fishes in blackwater. In bonfire, you see a lot of like crustaceans like amphipods, um, and larval crabs and all that. And you also have like what you call holoplanktons, no, and miroplanktons. Miroplanktons, they're they are plankton that are no, they live. Miroplankton are animals that live in the midwater column in the early stages of their lives. No? So when they are young. No? So like for example, a larval fish, okay, it will stay in the planktonic zone. When you say planktonic zone, by the way, 6 meters or higher above the reef. No? They live there. No? They want to avoid the predators that stay in the reef or in the filter feeders that stay in the shallow water. Now, at some point in their lives, these myroplankton will have developed, these larval fish, for example, will develop like um, good fins for swimming, and they don't need to like float anymore, no? And then they can run away from their predators, and then they settle back down to the reef, and then they look like a normal fish, no? So these are myroplankton. Now, on the other hand, you have the holoplankton, and you see them also in blackwater and bonfire diving. Holoplankton, on the other hand, these are like plankton for life. No? They are born in the midwater column, and then they will live there, and then they will die there. Like for example, a nautilus, no, a paper nautilus. So they will just naturally stay there. No? So you see also holoplankton, paper nautilus in blackwater and bonfire. No? Now, there are just a few animals that I think it's not impossible, but more probable, no, to see in blackwater diving. Like for example, a female blanket octopus. Not impossible to see them in bonfire, but unlikely because they're inherently in deep water. Uh, but in blackwater diving, they have a higher probability of appearing. Now, even if I say that, no, I've actually seen female blanket octopus in bonfire diving already. But I guess it's just by chance, no. Sooner or later, you will have these rare encounters. That's why I say it's not impossible to see either or, no. The same thing, vice versa. You have a set of critters that are more probable in bonfire and less likely in black water, but does not uh, mean to say it's impossible. Like for example, you see often the male blanket octopus in bonfire, but not too common in black water. No? So why we don't really understand right now? Nobody's studied that. No, but these are things that we observe. No. Um, so yeah, so that's what makes Blackwater and Bonfire very interesting. Yes, Bonfire especially because in the beginning we've thought we couldn't see a lot of the stuff there that we see in Blackwater, and the more we practice it, the more we realize that hey, we actually could like see almost the same set of animals here, no? Like the female octopus, for example. We really thought we couldn't see it in Bonfire. Now we keep seeing them once in a while. The paper nautilus also the same, only used to be in black water, now we see them in bonfire, and so on and so forth. The list is growing.